Waitress wins $10 million lottery and all hell breaks loose. It all began in a dying Alabama town in 1999. The Grand Bay Waffle House was filled with hungry customers. Most were working class. Many were retired. The sound and smell of frying bacon drifted out of the busy kitchen. Edward Seward sat at a table. He was a truck driver and repeat customer. Today, he sat alone and his waitress was Tonda Dickerson. Tonda was in her late 20s. She was a divorced single mother who left her abusive husband a few years prior. She now lived hand to mouth, working 5 shifts a week. Seward finished his meal and tipped Tonda with a lottery ticket he'd bought in Florida during one of his routes. And so began a snowball of events that would make for a great movie script. The following week, the winning lottery number was announced and Tonda realized her life was about to change. She'd just won over $10 million. Unlike most lottery winners, she chose to take 30 annual payments of $375,000 rather than a lump payment of $4 million. She was young enough to enjoy the payments and knew this would help prevent her from blowing all the money too soon. She quit her job at the Waffle House, for the time being. Things begin to unravel. First, 4 fellow waitresses sued Tonda, saying they had a joint agreement to split any lottery winnings from tickets customers gave them. At court, the waitresses brought in a customer who said she'd heard Tonda mention the agreement to her. Tonda contended this wasn't a real customer, and a friend they brought to help them win the case. The courts ruled against Tonda, saying she must split the earnings. Then, an Alabama district court overturned the ruling, saying the agreement was built on gambling which was illegal in their district. Tonda's lawyer didn't mince words, describing the co-workers as rats coming out of the woodwork. One would think this was a moment of relief for Tonda, but it was only the beginning of her problems. Her Waffle House customer, Edward Seward, learned Tonda won the lottery and called a lawyer to sue for his share of the money. He claimed Tonda had said, "I'll buy you a new truck if I win with this ticket." There's a pesky thing called promissory estoppel, where you can be held accountable for an oral promise, if the court sees it as reasonable. Seward's problem: if you tip someone a lottery ticket, it is, statistically, a very low-value tip. In the rare chance they win, you can't reasonably expect a partial return. In normal circumstances, you wouldn't tip cash and say you get cash back if some specified event happens. His case was quickly rejected. Things get worse. Then, Tonda's abusive ex-husband learned she'd won the lottery. He shows up and kidnaps her, keeping her at the wheel and forcing her to drive. He says he's going to kill her. They begin driving to a remote region in the boonies of Alabama. 20 minutes into the drive, he took a phone call. As he was distracted, Tonda pulled out a gun and threatened to shoot him. He lunged to take her gun. Before he could grab it, Tonda pulled the trigger, sending a bullet into his chest. He managed to take the gun from her. At her urging, they went to the hospital to get him treated. He managed to survive but was sentenced to a brief stint in prison. And finally there's the IRS, who spent a decade fighting her in court about exactly how much she owed in taxes on the money. They were demanding $1 million in gift tax, on top of income taxes. However, the court ruled in Tonda's favor. By the end, she gave most of the winnings away to her family to set up a business. Not much else is known about her life nowadays, apart from the fact that she now works as a poker dealer in a casino. What a crazy life, though. Tonda's story, though dramatic, has many parallels to other lottery winners. People consistently turn up out of the woodwork, trying to get a piece of the money. Many families have been torn apart because of a jackpot. The lottery turns people into parasites.